It's Spooktober, and we're back with another Let's Movie. So let's get right into this. I got to do it right in the beginning, and it just needs to stay that energy, right? So let's do it. Okay,
we're doing a cool movie, guys. We're doing the movie Mad God, written, directed, produced,
painstakingly,
Phil Tippett.
Yes, and for 30 years in the making, apparently, roughly around there. Did you know that?
I knew that. I would say that
you son of a bee.
God, he's read my notes.
Do you know some of his works?
I know that he was in Jurassic Park 1, and he started doing this movie after they seen the CGI for the dinosaurs. But listen, it's a crazy movie. You guys all know that. Me and Michael, let's just get right into it. Let's not wish words, because this is gonna have to be a little bit different than what we normally do for our Let's movies, because like Mad God is a little avant-garde,
masturbatory. It's a postmodern.
It's a movie that it's a silent movie, a dialogue essentially. And the movie is, there's not really like a storyline that you could like really pin down, because a lot of the scenes either don't really conjoin together because of the different places that they kind of take it. We can definitely start off with the movie saying that the movie starts off with a gentleman in like kind of like a tank getting lowered down through all these different like worlds, essentially.
Yeah, there's these levels of just depth are different. It's just, but what you'll find in a common theme throughout this whole movie is that there's destruction, violence,
poop,
gruesomeness, poop,
a lot of poop.
Just deplorable stuff. All the bad things about humans and life is here. It's like hell, basically. If you didn't know what hell looked like, and you're like, this kind of what maybe it could look like. So this Hellgas kind of person, this person that has these goggles, like basic German soldier looking outfit, is being lowered a really long ways away, and it's a long shot, and you can see it. By the way, all this movie's done in stop motion.
Yes, that is like the cool, like real cool part of this movie. I love that. Yeah. Our guy gets out. He checks the map. It's really worn down. The map is falling apart. Every time he opens it and closes it, it's falling apart. Yeah. He kills Santa.
He kills Santa?
Yeah. Look at the first thing he does when he walks out is he kills three small gnomish looking people. Two small ones,
like
dressed as elves, and a larger one in a Santa outfit. So after he kills Santa and his elves, he keeps walking. And you're thinking to yourself, where the hell am I? What's going on? Say something, please, gentlemen. And he keeps walking, buddy. He keeps walking. He just keeps walking. And he starts seeing all this crazy shit. The craziest things.
The craziest things. And so this is a world that exists in no kind of... it doesn't hold this world that we live in. There's no similarities. It's all kind of chaotic. And we see so many creature designs, different people, if you can call them people.
Baby, Mr. Allteeth.
Oh, yeah. We called him Monkey Man. They use a lot of monkey noises in this.
Tits, butt, ass.
Yeah, there's a lot of sexual organs,
dude.
on display.
When I saw the guy, his balls were boobs. I called him I call him the triple BV, not a Brazilian butt lift, the boobs, butt, and then
beaver
because he's got like a vagina.
So
no, I know. I called it boob, butt, ball man.
Yeah, throughout the whole movie, this is a good way to encapsulate the chaos that ensues in this movie. It's almost like a living and breathing ecosystem where there's things dominating other things and things trying to get away or being dominated.
Yeah, and then like recreated, because there's like this whole interesting scene that I kind of liked where like you walk into a room and all these guys are getting constantly shocked, like they're in the electric chair. And when they're getting shocked, they're shitting themselves, and it's draining out into the ground, and there's a monster below them that's eating all the shit, and then that guy is producing all this liquid junk that is being injected into these moles to create hair poop men.
Yeah, hair poop men.
And these hair poop men are just, they're working.
The Dingleberry elves.
The Dingleberry elves. And they're just like slaves. And they're so dumb that like they'll like walk into moving traffic or like throw themselves into wood chippers.
It's a very hazardous work zone. And they're being talked to by this entity and screens. It's like, who knows? There's these things where this movie has to have meaning. You think there's like, oh, this is like metaphor, or this is.
You were constantly searching for what's happening here.
Yeah, and parts could be maybe assigned some real life lesson or something you could take away from whatever this is. Like that part could be like the way we treat lower class workers as their like what do you call it? Could be like
a commentary on capitalism.
Yeah, capitalism. Like they could be replaced. They're replaceable. They're dispensa. They don't matter. We just need them to do it.
So what, that world definitely is a symbolism for the need for a union.
Some guy. That's what the guys with the map is like. I need to start a union.
He's just so pro union.
But yeah, apparently he's an assassin. If you read the description, this guy's an assassin. He's an assassin that's being sent on a mission. That's all you know about this.
Yes,
guy.
so like they say that he is carrying a bomb. He goes to set the bomb off. Bomb doesn't work.
Yeah, he sets it. Yeah, it stops it. And then this mechanical baby-headed thing that goes just like attacks. It's piles of bodies. Apparently creating this one scene where these literally piles of wired G.I. Joe little toys took like 6 people, like all that, like throughout, I don't know, weekends or whatever, 3 years to set up the scene. Isn't that crazy?
Crazy. Here's what, this is going to be a lot shorter, I think, of a movie review for me and Michael, just because typically we really like to kind of delve into each scene and talk about it and laugh about it. Mad God is such the visuals of this movie are so dark, they're so kind of like hard to kind of explain, that it's one of those movies that you just kind of gotta watch it yourself,
or don't.
Honestly, it's hard to suggest it to somebody, because if
I can't recommend it, to be honest.
If you like them, if you need your movie to have some sort of like a well presented plot, this one's not for you. Everything is interpretation. Very cool.
Up for interpretation.
Yeah.
It's not telling you
not
directly.
It needs to be.
Yeah, it needs to be. It heavily needs to be explained. But I do have my theory on everything, to be honest. I walked away. The final moments really explain like what my take on the whole thing is about. So, but we'll try to explain a little bit more up to the point. But basically, you see the first assassin boy fail whatever he was trying to do.
So bring in a new guy.
Yeah, and he gets stabbed and he gets taken to this doctor area where he gets.
He doesn't get stabbed. He gets brutally murdered by a gigantic machine monster?
Baby thing crawling like one of Sid's creations.
From
Toy Story.
Yeah.
But then he's taken to this doctor place, and this is where they actually use stop motion on people. These were actual people that looked stop motion.
This part was cool.
And it was this effed up, weird scene where he's all one eyeball is just looking around in pain, just being like, oh god, and he's wrapped up in gauze and everything. Yeah. And they're doing surgery, taking out a bunch of stuff out of his body. It's all effed up, and they take this hairy baby.
First off, before they took the hairy baby out, they also took like a bunch of books out, some jewels, some gold coins. This guy was loaded.
Yeah. For some reason, inside of his body.
He doesn't need a union. He's already rich.
So he take out this hairy baby that was in him this whole time, apparently.
This thing needed to shut the fuck up.
I know. They use a lot of baby noise.
A lot of baby noise. There was a couple threads that me and Nicole thought about that were really common in this movie.
I can't believe Nicole sat through this with you.
Good honor. Clocks, baby noises,
and monkey sounds. There's a lot of monkey sounds. And poop. And blood. So then they take this baby. This was the important part that they wanted to get out of him. He apparently dies. I don't know. The doctor looks into the vision or memories. They put something in his brain, a cord goes down, and it sees the TV screen. We flash to the next scene where it has nothing to do with whatever this person was, but we get to see where this person was sent from, which the only real person, there's a real actor in this
fake with his fake acrylic nails on.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a decision. It's like David Lynchy.
I think that the long nail thing was cool. They could have, you know what, for those 30 years to put in a little bit of work into this movie, they could have spent 30 minutes extra on those acrylic nails.
Yeah, this one dictator-esque person that's in charge of all these nameless soldiers that are the same type of soldier that we saw this whole time.
And to clarify, they're massive in comparison to this person.
He's just walking around. So there's a lot of perspective changes throughout this movie where it's like an Alice in Wonderland trip. I'd almost explain this visual to be like all those trippy parts of Mandy, if you guys ever watch Mandy.
Love that movie.
But all the trippy scenes where you could take that and it has nothing to do with the movie, but this is the entire movie of that.
Yeah.
Just a trippy, weird situation. So then we see this, and they're lowering a new assassin guy that's taking on the task, has the same kind of map.
He's thinking, God damn it.
None of us come back. What do we do?
He got a new mirror, or a new map that was made by these witches, by the dictator.
Yeah, and this was like there was a lot of symbolism for those three witches were Greek mythology, the three witches that shared the eye, because they had the eye.
They're
there's another one later on with the bull.
The Sisters of Fate.
Yeah, Sisters of Fate. And then there's another one with the two bulls guarding this. We find out this hell character that.
Are we sure that wasn't the one bull that was getting jerked off by the demon succubuses?
Is that Greek mythology or was that in the movie?
I think that was in Greek. No, that was in the movie.
Oh yeah. So when they were going through the city, it was like in an alleyway.
They're going through this city and they just see this one bull being like jerked off. First off, he's not just getting jerked off. There's three succubus. One is like rubbing their boobies. The other one's jerking him off, and the other one's like licking his ass.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what? And then they just like a close up of the bull going.
Well, when you exist in this world, it's gonna take a lot more for you to get off. You know.
And then later they showed the bull again. I was like, same one.
But I think a lot of it reminded me, those old like paintings where they try to show what hell looks like, and it's a bunch of weird mixed up bodies of animals, and it looks so trippy. And it's like, if that's what hell looks like, that's terrible. It's like a terrible. You know what kind of paintings I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I feel like that was their inspiration for some of this stuff, some of this chaotic, weird shenanigans that are going on that have no sort of rhyme or reason connection, and that's what this movie was successful at. I think it was. This whole time you're seeing this assembly line of creation and destruction, and there's no what is it producing in the end?
Order, because it just creates something that either destroys itself or destroys the previous one, then creates another thing.
Yeah,
but there's more like
it's for no reason.
It's more demented as this thing goes on. Yeah,
and that's what. That's what it is.
I will say the whole Margot's wet nurse type situation.
Oh yeah.
So the hairy baby we talked about earlier, the nurse like takes it out and gives it to this like creepy kind of like
medicine
plague
doctor,
mask, wet nurse type situation.
Wraps just floating. She's just floating across
in slow
floor.
motion at all times.
And the way the things retract, like her long hands, is
super cool.
It's like bouncing.
She was my favorite. They were my favorite part of the movie for sure. Because I'm a big Bloodborne guy, and it just was so Bloodborne-esque. Well, this whole movie is technically.
Yeah. She takes the baby, starts crying harder.
They take she takes this baby to like a doctor who was taking care of his weird
poop shovelers. They're big giant apes that are poop shovelers, and they're hairless.
And one's got a boner the entire time.
One's got a boner, and they have cages around their face, probably so they don't bite each other's stuff off. And they're just fighting, and probably because they're working in bad conditions. They've been working all day.
I would fight you if we were in that situation.
Just shoveling poop all the time.
Dude, yeah. And the worst part is, like, as the scene changes, like, it pans up to see everything that's around him, and just more shit falls out of the air, and you're like, well, they're never getting out of here.
Yeah. So,
when does the shift end?
No, never. And that's the point. They get this little hobgoblin thing that has hairy tumor face, basically shocks them to be like, hey, stop fighting and start shoveling this stuff for no reason. There's no reason to any of this labor, to any of this design.
Michael, in the next scene after, the doctor, after he shocks them, he like feeds worms into this thing. What did that remind you, like sea monkeys?
Yeah, they're like little. He created his own little biosphere, his little biodome, full of this little habitat. Yeah. And so the whole beginning of this movie Basically, it was a lot of fluff, a lot of setting, establishing. But the rest of this movie, like the later 25%, I feel like you can take away and be like, okay, this is what they're trying to say through this whole movie.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to hear that because I didn't get that at all.
Okay. So this whole biodome that he's created is he's feeding these little worms to this little world that seems so apart from all of that we've seen. It's colorful.
It's very colorful. It's very like heartwarming.
Yeah. So it's this own little world that exists inside this like shoebox. Basically,
There's love there.
There's love there. There's this one little alien that's helping the other, and they're eating these tiny little grub worms, and they're just enjoying life. Nothing's bad's happening. But then purposefully, this tumorous person that's just evil presses a button to have this predator that's a predator of this little biodome enter to create havoc and discourse. So it's not just an Eden anymore. There's now
a kidnapping.
A predator that takes away the small one, the other one runs away.
Steals them.
So it's just, and that's kind of what it wrapped up. This godlike figure is creating chaos on purpose for its enjoyment.
Well, that person was, but that person wasn't a god.
But no, but it was a god to them.
Right.
Like it was in all intents and purposes. It was that god.
It was that person's god, but that person's god is just a normal person and all this craziness. I mean, normal is not really a thing because obviously the whole world itself is insanity. But like he is only a god of his one little spot. Yeah. So like
technically, Noki, your corgi, you are Noki's god.
I think of a father figure.
Well, you might think that, but technically, whatever. Point is, yeah, that. But the second assassin, we never established what happens. We really don't get any closure with that. He just drives.
He gets a truck.
Drives through a pointless labyrinth of just a descent of squareness.
And that's when they kill the baby. They take the baby's parts, they funnel it all together, and they make like this glowing glitter dust.
Yeah, the plague wet nurse character brings the baby. Scientist. This hobgoblin is like its little helper. It's like, oh, I'll get everything. She turns to some pointless random page of the book. Ah, yes. After setting the baby in this grinder, she's like, needs to get out of the book. What to do next? Oh yeah.
Step 2.
Smush the baby.
Crunch.
Smush the baby, turns into this glittery powder.
Yeah, and then she throws this dust into like this abyss that turns into this
furnace that opens up, and it's like this glorious colors.
It's gotta be more than a furnace because when she did it, like it was like alive. It was like.
Well, the outside looked like this fiery furnace that you just put stuff in to feed it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, and when it fed it, it like became like this living thing. Where then all of a sudden you're in space. And you're seeing this UFO when all the planets are aligned.
The monoliths coming out of this black hole of like the creation, the hole that they created and put all this nasty baby stuff, all this stuff coalesced to this one baby that they now churned into this the material to create this new universe, basically.
Yeah, but like every time from the black hole that came from originally, right after that Big Bang, all the planets aligned up in space.
Well, some planets, the solar system.
Well, all the ones that we were shown.
Yeah, just to be shown.
Like these pillars of stone were flying out of like this dark black hole, hitting the planets, and then creating like this sickness.
They're creating the life. It was creating the basic blocks to create life on that planet. Were coming from these monoliths. As like think of spores. When spores hit, then they can create or whatever, and then life began on the planet, and it started to fast forward through. It's just very similar to our experience on Earth. It's now we're seeing all these buildings and
like anarchists and stuff like that.
But then war comes, and it's the start of where, like, just another
and then
chapter of destruction.
And then all of a sudden, like it's like this weird time thing, where now the bomb does go off.
The bomb does go off at the end?
Yeah, the bomb goes off because then it shows you the bomb that was earlier, and as opposed to being stuck and like not being able to go forward, it went tick, tick, forward one, and then it blew up. And then that's where the movie essentially ends right there. When that blows up, you get the Phil Tippett. A couple scenes go by, and then you see like the acrylic nail guy for like a brief second on screen.
Oh yeah, for no reason.
For no reason. So like
you're just there like looking down or something.
So Michael, you have more of a theory insight on this than I do. I would love to talk it out with you. What's on your mind about it? Okay,
quickly I'll just put it like this. This is what I took from it. It could be wrong. I don't know. But I felt like this was addressing. It was a very negative view on what life is, and ultimately he's breaking down to this, like, whoever's in charge for the creation of our life, our experiences, and stuff like that, has to be mad, because it's like the
how
title,
bad
Mad
everything
God.
is.
It's what was I gonna say? Like, the way even nature, we're far removed from nature. How nature operates is almost like how Mad God operates a little bit. Like, all these creatures killing each other for just not monetary means, but just like sustenance, whatever. All these machines,
A very extreme way, but yeah.
even us working as people, like we're working, we're developing, we're continually evolving. Just like whatever this assembly mind of Mad God is, just creating more stuff. It's just shit piling us. It's meaningless.
More of a depravity version of our world.
Yes, it's like, it's trying to say that what we actually view as like meaning and stuff like that is pointless. All this, like, the bad stuff that we endure is much more than what the good stuff that we get out of life, which is I forget the term, but it starts with an N. It's nihilistic. It's a nihilistic view on what life is, and basically this is a love note to say that whatever, if there is a God, it's a mad God, because we're
it's a very depressing take on it.
we are because literally they choose the baby. They take this basically hard this living, breathing thing that is their world and put it into powder just to make a new universe, to start a new spiral of eventual destruction. It's all about creation to destruction, like the snake eating itself, Ouroboros. It's like destruction causes creation.
So in this world, would you call the wet nurse the Mad God, because technically that is the one that created the universe that we're in?
Yeah, it would be our Mad God.
Yeah, no, here's what I would say about the movie. I would say that if you are somebody who is a fan of stop motion animation, if you are a fan of something that is very visually striking, this might be a movie for you to throw on and kind of watch. It's not super long.
You can even see the best of parts.
You could do like a best of parts, maybe. Or this movie will be really super good. Mike was like, "That's not what I did." It would be maybe really good if you're having a Halloween party. Throw that bad boy on as a little bit of a creepy, effed up ambiance to like the season.
It has some Rob Zombie playing in the background.
Yeah,
have quite the party.
I don't know but if that's not like your thing, like stop motion and like visually striking things, I don't really recommend watching the movie. I think I would watch it if this is something that has interest you. But like, if you're watching this and maybe you're thinking, oh, maybe I will, maybe I won't, maybe make this one a skip. I would honestly rewatch it if Phil, the guy who made everything, created it all, did like a director writer commentary over the movie. I would love that.
I wouldn't want to see them jerking off. It's like, oh, this is the part. I watched it to get a better. I watched some things after the viewing to get a better head. See if other people have different takes than me. Actually, nobody really has a different take than me. But you get to see a lot of Phil Tippett talking about his own work, and he's kind of a masturbatory guy.
Me too, man. I love jerking off.
So I'm on the same. I'm on the same note as Alex. I would not I
would not masturbate.
No. I would not recommend this to the average viewer. Maybe some art house guy that I was like, hey, you think you know meanings? I want to see your take on this. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the movie has something there. It's just too buried underneath just like visual craziness and lack of presentation of what those themes are for you to even grasp it. Like, I the whole time was sitting there, was like, what am I looking at? How does this connect? You know, what is going on here? All these different things. Honestly, I think that this movie, if you would have taken it and you would have released it online and called it like the Mad God universe, and then just had like, 10 or so 10-minute sections that really kind of highlight the world that you made out of it.
It's like a YouTube
and create like
series.
a mini series of it.
Yeah, like a YouTube channel that just released it.
Yeah, and say that they're not these aren't really connected. These
Or
just
are
show
they?
like an overall universe, and then people could theorize about it and really chomp into it. It would have lived a much better like life. But when you mush it all together and you say that this is a movie, it can be a little difficult to consume.
And I think really for me, the painstakingly, it was too postmodern for me. Is like really just trying to divert what's considered normal on purpose, just being very art housey. And 30 years does not excuse. If this was made in 5 years, I'd have maybe like, okay, whatever. Sure, it deserves to exist. But this guy was working on it for 30 years, man. There's stop motion movies that I've seen on Netflix, a horror one that has 3 stories on it, that I'd much rather recommend to anybody. It was a much better story.
Coraline.
Watch Coraline or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like, here's what I would say. I think that this guy wanted the movie to be like this. Is exactly what he wanted.
Yeah.
But I think that though I love seeing an artist being able to make something, it be what they want, to have that control, that's something you don't see a lot in the movie industry, is someone who really took it upon himself and did this. I love that.
Some artists are able to have a strong vision and able to translate it just as well.
I think that he had a strong world vision, of so strong in fact that it took him forever to make everything, because he was probably so super detail oriented in what he wanted. But he had all these things and nothing to kind of string them together.
I would say that to make this film better, maybe the wet nurse at the end had one monologue. The only time anybody talked.
Yeah.
And kind of just said everything in like a couple sentences.
A monologue or two, but no.
A monologue or two at the very end of her explaining like something.
Or Phil, get in there and try and do a commentary on it so you can kind of describe what your thought process is as everything was going on, because I couldn't even tell the guy was a freaking assassin in the beginning.
No, I thought he was just a man on a mission. But it doesn't matter. I don't know what he was trying to kill.
Okay, guys, that's our feeling on Mad God. Love it, hate it. Let us know in the comment section. We appreciate it. It means a lot to us. Michael, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Like, comment, and subscribe, and recommend something to us. Whatever you... I don't care, dude. You're going to be the only one talking. If you watching, whoever you are, you're going to be the only one.
If we get a recommendation, we do it, because we get so little, it's easy to sort through them.
And if we ignored any recommendation, we don't deserve to go. Like one person just says something, I want to see you guys do a wedding play or wedding singer. And we just never did it.
Yeah, the one comment, only one comment, do the wedding singer.
Nah.
All right, guys. See you guys later.
Yep. Stay poopy.